Hello, my nephews and nieces, Uncle Kyle here. Today we are talking about what would a Red Hood Arkham game possibly look like. Well, I think the first thing to talk about when you think of a Red Hood game is you need decent or good disposable villains. Now, what I'm talking about that is we need entertaining villains, obviously, to carry a plot line for, I don't know, 30 hours or so, because this guy kills every single thing he touches. So naturally, we're gonna need villains who, well, like C-tier villains. We're gonna need C-tier Batman villains. Maybe dipping into B, maybe, you know, someone who I don't really see as having another decent storyline in the Arkham series, going on from Arkham Knight. By the way, I haven't mentioned this hypothetical situation is taking place after Arkham Knight, so Red Hood game after Arkham Knight. But some examples of the villains I think would be really good for this game, very disposable villains who have not appeared in the Arkham series whatsoever. I think maybe Clue Master would be very good. Obviously, Clue Master hasn't really been able to fit into the Arkham series, mainly because he is very close in concept with Riddler. So I think this kind of game, or any kind of side game, is like the only opportunity where he could have a pretty, I don't know, a pretty major spot in the storyline. I don't feel like in a Batman game they'd really give Clue Master out of everyone a major spot in the story, other than just throw him away almost instantly like they did with like Hush and Arkham Knight. That's like the only way I see it for him. And I feel like a decent villain like Clue Master deserves some kind of recognition, even if he just exists to just die at the end of the game. I feel like this could be a really good opportunity for his character to gain some popularity at least. Also, I think this could be a really good opportunity, similarly, well, for the same basic reasons Clue Master was. I feel like it would also be good to have Great White Shark in there as well. Now, I know a lot of Batman fans will not even know who Great White Shark is. Honestly, he's not really in much stuff outside of comics, so I don't really know 100% who he is. I couldn't really give you a full description and the full history of Great White Shark, but I believe he's already has been mentioned in the Arkham series, and I don't know if he's been already like cast aside, like he's already been explained to be dead or whatsoever. I hope not, because this would look real stupid if it is. But like, you know, he looks cool of a character. I know that like some chemicals or something happened to make his teeth like razor sharp, and he's like a skilled negotiator. I forgot who he's for, like the mob or something like that, but I know that he's very intelligent and kind of stuff. And I don't know, he just looks like maybe like more of a maybe the form kind of mob boss. I kind of get a vibe from him, kind of like Hammerhead from Spider-Man. One now is in the Arkham series, which I don't think they haven't reached their full potential, but I also think they kind of have. So I'm kind of a bit on the board with that, but I just don't know what else they're gonna do to, like, in a new Batman story, a new Batman Arkham story. But that is Professor Pig. I feel like he's done most of the stuff he needs to. He's already done the creepy stuff. We already know he's a creepy ass guy. Yeah, maybe there's a little more that you can do with him, but like, I don't think there's a whole lot more you can do with him to the point that he's going to have an even bigger role than he did in Arkham Knight. I think he already had a decent role in there. I'm happy with what he did. I'm happy with, I mean, he basically replaced Victor Zsasz. I think if they're going to go down the serial killer route, they're going to go down the Zsasz again. So I think Professor Pig, having him being eliminated by Red Hood, would be nice. Would be very nice. And you know, a character like Professor Pig, he really is a disgusting kind of person, isn't he? Like, he really just is just one of those people where it's just like, if you're caught by him, like, you know, like, have you seen these conversations on TikTok of people saying, would you rather be like throw hands with a random Batman villain or a random Spider-Man villain? Like, people like Professor Pig, like villains like him, it's like the sole reason that people choose Spider-Man villains, because Spider-Man villains will just kill you. But Professor Pig, he brings a whole new meaning to pain. He will make you wish you're dead. The things that he does in Arkham Knight, if you haven't played Arkham Knight, you need to search up what this Professor Pig guy does to his victims, because it is worse than death. It is 1,000 times worse than death. So killing him could be like a major statement to the rest of Gotham, and especially if you have Batman appear in that game, and maybe have the rest of the Bat family or Red Hood trying to say that my way of doing things is right. And I also think that could be a really good part of the game, where Red Hood is just trying to prove everyone killing is right. I'm here to prove that. And he goes and kills Professor Pig, and then he maybe gets a bit of the public on his side. I don't know. I'm looking into more of the politics side of it, which, you know, I'd really like, but you know what I mean? Like, I really do appreciate when these games start turning less from the vigilante side to the more politics side and the more civilian outlook on things. I think that could be very entertaining. So yeah, that's about all for the villains. I think also Maxi Zeus could be decent for this, but again, I know less about Maxi Zeus than I was gonna say Rage Bear. I know less about Maxi Zeus than Great White Shark, so I'm just not gonna talk about him frantically. I'm just not gonna try. As for the map in the game, I'm pretty sure, at least all the stories I've seen of Red Hood, he's always been working out of Gotham, just going for the C tier villains, and everyone's just like, why is he doing that? But like, we all know why he's doing that. Like, from a writer's perspective, we can all understand that, even if it is not the best writing, you know. Just to say he has a phobia of Joker or like A-list villains at this point, you know, like that'll be better. But the map, I assume, since I'm mostly putting this out there as a side game, not any type of main game. I'm not talking about a replacement for a new Batman Arkham game. I'm not talking about a whole, give me a whole 400 million budget for this is the next big DC game. Like, that's never gonna happen. Like a Red Hood game is most likely not gonna happen either, like just in any type of way. But in a side game is the best possible way that we're gonna get any type of Red Hood experience, like, except from the DLC in Arkham Knight. But I mostly envision the map being mostly Arkham City size. I wouldn't mind them reusing the map from Arkham City. I mean, Origins basically did it or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long since we've got a decent Arkham game that I'm just like, you know what, yeah. Like, we used to complain back in the day when Origins reused City's map and called it laziness by WB, Montreal. But like, you know what? I would take that in a heartbeat nowadays. I would take, if they said, oh, we're doing a Red Hood game, it's going to be mostly big, you know what I mean? It's not going to be absolute AAA, like next big Arkham game type stuff. You know, it's not like Suicide Squad type stuff. But we're using the Arkham City map. I couldn't care. Or the Arkham Knight map. I couldn't care. I couldn't care less. I mean, I would say reuse the Arkham Knight map because it's already there. But I may be thinking that's a bit too big, really. You know, like Batman had his whole Batmobile. And he had like the grapple boost to go around that city. What was Red Hood gonna do? You know what I mean? Unless you bring back the massive jumps from Gotham Knights, like on the air, which I'm not really gonna be in favor for. So nah, I don't think so. As for the upgrades of the game, I don't really. Well, obviously there's gonna be guns. There's gonna be a whole load of guns. There's gonna be a whole load of choice of guns, which is probably gonna send this down the route of being basically a Punisher game. Like, this basically will be a Punisher game in a lot of sensitive ways with the amount of guns you're gonna be able to well, get. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to go down the whole powerful character route, I don't know what to call it, but you know, like a character that gets absolutely obscene weapons that they really shouldn't have. I don't know what example I'm going to use for this. I was going to tell you to just go along with me with this. Like, I don't know, maybe Red Hood could get like a something like Kryptonian, like a Kryptonian gun, a stuff like, or like something like a lantern. Like something Atlantis. I don't know. It might not make much sense, but you know what I'm trying to go with this. Something that Cyborg would do, something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to make it like, not Ubisoft, so like not with the microtransactions, like buy DLC for this, all this kind of stuff. But like, if you really want to make it interesting with the gun upgrades and stuff like that, I really think that would be kind of nice. And it really depends on how powerful you want Jason Todd to be at the end of the game. If you want him to be on par with Batman in terms of just general firepower and gadgets, you know what I mean? And of course, like, you could also unlock like traps, you know, like that people can walk into, kind of like Explosive Joe, but more deadly, and obviously more entertaining with like the bloodshed. Obviously, this game's gonna have to be R-rated, but like this game is gonna be very R-rated, and I expect the traps and the killing and everything to be very, very not safe for work. You know what I mean? So. I mean, is that ever going to happen? Probably not. But, you know, like, you know my optimism. You know what I would really want in a Red Hood game? What I would really desire when it comes to plot and kind of stuff? I want flashbacks. I want them to go back during the game, some points during the game, and them to just send you back into a point where you're playing as Jason Todd, Red Hood. That doesn't make sense. You're playing as Jason Todd as Robin for Batman, you know, like you're with Batman on missions. And I don't think Batman, because of Kevin Conroy, RIP, but like, you don't have to have Batman voiced, or at least you can get Roger Craig Smith to voice him. But maybe you could have, like, in certain points of the game, you could see flashbacks of them together, and you could have the whole storyline that Jason Todd hasn't fully forgiven Batman from what happened, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, at the end of Arkham Knight, he did save Batman, but that doesn't mean that he has to fully forgive him. That doesn't mean that his mindset is just fully, like, it doesn't mean that he can look at Batman and just say he has done nothing wrong. Like, that doesn't mean that at all, you know what I mean? I want him to still be going through the motions. I want him to still have these memories of Batman and still being a little skeptical of if he's the best guy to follow. Obviously, he's already gone down pretty much the deep end, seeing that, like, okay, you are my mentor and I respect you very much, but respectfully so, not killing is not the way. You're sending Gotham into a ditch. I'm doing the right thing here, like, respectfully and stuff like that. And yeah, I just want those kind of emotions. Maybe like during gameplay, it can like randomly send you into, not randomly, like in an open world. Obviously, it would be story moments, but it can send you into these moments like if you've played God of War, or like, you know, Ragnarok, like when it randomly makes you Atreus. I know those are really annoying, but the Jason Todd segments, tell me you wouldn't be interested in playing as Jason Todd in flashbacks when it literally has Batman and Jason Todd like working together, and maybe at the end of near the end of the game, the last flashback could be when Jason Todd got kidnapped, like the exact scene with Joker. Tell me you wouldn't be very fucking interested to see that. I'd definitely be excited to play that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even a big fan. Why did it stop recording? I did not tell it to do that. I did my whole outro and everything, and it stopped recording. Okay, you know what? Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. What I was saying anyway is that I've never really liked Jason Todd that much, but a good game can make me like Jason Todd, you know what I mean? A good game can make me like anything, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big Batman fan, but I wouldn't have been as big of a Batman fan as I am now without the Arkham games and the Lego games. By the way, I'm not bold. Okay, it probably doesn't look like I'm bold, but like still, I'm just saying. Like, that was to validate myself. Sorry, let me just get back to it. Yeah, so yeah, Red Hood. I don't like him that much now. I consider Dick Grayson as the better Robin. You know, I'm giving WB genius suggestions. You know what I mean? If they really want money, but no, they're gonna go down the route of another live service game. I swear. So. Man, I mean, if this company goes out of business, they can't blame us. They really can't, you know what I mean? Give them the key to success. Right, anyway, I'm Uncle Kyle. There should be 2 videos around here. They can go ahead and watch. They're pretty good videos. You can go ahead and check them out. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.